Beyond borders, Egypt is easing its blockade of Gaza 4 years after Hamas took power. Lawyers for Ratko Mladic plan to oppose his transfer to The Hague. They claim he won't get a fair trial. President Obama talks national security and missiles with his Polish counterpart on the last leg of his European tour. Hello, welcome to BBC World News. I'm Martine. Also to come, the big match, who'll triumph in the footballing duel between the best of England and Spain. And the musician Gil Scott-Heron, widely regarded as the godfather of rap, has died at the age of 62. Egypt is expected to ease restrictions at the Rafah border crossing with Gaza later today. The move should allow more Palestinians to cross freely, although the border will remain closed for trade. Israel and Egypt have blockaded Gaza since Hamas took control of the territory 4 years ago. Israel has criticised the move. It says the restrictions are vital to prevent arms smuggling. From Cairo, here's our correspondent John Lyne.
For the first time in 4 years, there will be relatively free access to Gaza through its border with Egypt. Palestinian men aged 18 to 40 will still need to apply for visas to enter Egypt, and there are other less time-consuming procedures for everyone else. Nevertheless, the move is expected to provide a big boost to Gaza, allowing visitors to come and go, money to come in, and economic activity to revive. Israel and the United States have expressed concern that either arms or weapons experts will be able to get into Gaza, though the existing network of tunnels means the border is already very porous. And Egypt insists it will conduct thorough searches at its border post. The opening of the border is another sign that Egypt's new rulers are not going to be as cooperative with Israel as former President Mubarak. It's a new reality Israel is going to have to learn to live with. John Lyne, BBC News, Cairo.
Ratko Mladic has been told by a judge in Belgrade that he's fit enough to face genocide charges at the International Criminal Tribunal during the Bosnian War. His family and his lawyer plan to appeal against the decision, insisting that he's too ill to stand trial in The Hague. In 1995, he was indicted over the killings of about 8,000 Bosnian Muslim men and boys at Srebrenica.
After his slow path to arrest, Ratko Mladic is now on the fast track to extradition. The Serbian authorities taking less than 36 hours to clear the way for his move to The Hague. His gaunt, ailing presence no barrier to the court's decision to judge him fit for trial. Yet his lawyers told me they will appeal on grounds this 69-year-old is in no state to face the rigours of international justice. Mladic is in very bad physical and psychological health. He has real problems moving and he has trouble communicating. He should go to hospital, not be put on trial. We went to Mladic's family home and business in the suburbs of Belgrade, to this prosperous, peaceful block where the general once stayed during his breaks from the horrors of the war in Bosnia. We tried to talk to someone here, to ask if they knew where Mladic had been hiding all these years.
No. Molim vas, izađite.
But we were told we were not welcome. Even an alleged war criminal can still count on a few supporters. But at the government and judicial level, Ratko Mladic has no such support. The authorities here want him out of Serbia as soon as possible. Duncan Kennedy, BBC News, in Belgrade.
OK, we can cross now to the site of the worst atrocity in Europe since the Second World War. Our correspondent Nick Thorpe is in Srebrenica. The scene, obviously, of perhaps the worst atrocity carried out and attributed to Ratko Mladic. How is Srebrenica today?
Interestingly, a lot of the houses have been rebuilt. There are still ruins on the edges of the town. But basically, this is a town struggling to shake off the legacy of the past. In the town here in Srebrenica, people estimate, there are no actual new census figures, but about 50% of the population is now Muslim, 50% Serb. In the outlying villages are much larger Muslim presence. The older people very much obsessed almost, obviously, with the past. Younger people trying to shake it off, young people coming to talk to us, foreign journalists last night saying, please could we talk a little bit more about their efforts, for example, to set up a new youth centre, to hold festivals here. So the young people very much trying to step beyond it. In some ways, the older people trying to cling to the memories of the past, because really that was what put Srebrenica on the map, and there's so much loss of life just down the road from where I'm standing. Obviously 4,500 people buried in this massive, carefully kept, carefully restored cemetery now, many more bodies still to be found.
Indeed, and the massacre of an estimated 8,000 men and boys from this particular community, it must scar the entire population.
Absolutely, very much so, and there's this contrast here always between the sheer beauty of the countryside here, the smell of the flowers, the elderflower, the acacia, and this sense of doom, effectively, which all the loss of the huge loss of life, the massacre of all those men and boys caused. Interestingly, also in the graveyard, there's still large areas of green grass there waiting for those bodies which still haven't been found. 4,500 already buried there, but as you say, perhaps up to 8,000. Some local people, some local Muslims say the figure could reach 10,000 when they've gathered together all the people from all the mass graves. Always a fight over numbers here in Bosnia, but still clearly a great deal of reconciliation still. They're still really at the beginning of that.
Okay, thank you very much. Nick Thorpe, our correspondent there, live in Srebrenica. Now, President Obama is in Poland on the final leg of his European tour. He's due to hold talks today with his Polish counterpart. The White House says they're going to focus on national security issues and energy. The BBC's Will Grant reports.
As President Obama arrived to dine with regional leaders last night, protesters made their feelings clear. No US bases in Poland. The Polish president, however, would have been telling Mr. Obama quite the opposite. For President Bronisław Komorowski, this visit is a chance to press upon Washington at the highest level the extent to which Poland and other former Warsaw Pact nations feel the US has ignored their national security concerns. Mr. Obama sought to reassure them.
We have taken great inspiration from the blossoming of freedom and economic growth in this region, and we're confident that will continue, and we want to be a part of that process of strengthening your democracies, strengthening your economies, and be a full partner, because we think that'll be beneficial to the United States as well.
On Friday, President Obama paid homage to the millions killed in Poland during the Second World War and subsequent decades of communist rule. But Eastern European leaders feel that today Washington has been too preoccupied with the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan and the economic crisis at home to focus on their region. That early in his presidency, Mr. Obama cancelled the Bush administration's plans for a missile defence system in Poland only seemed to confirm their fears, as has the strengthening of US ties with Moscow. So talks on Saturday are aimed at improving bilateral relations with some concrete steps. A US air detachment is due to be set up in Poland to help train Polish pilots to fly F-16 fighter jets and C-130 transport aircraft. Energy issues are expected to feature prominently too, with Poland pushing for a